This is gonna be annoying, right? I guess I better stop. I'm on my birthing ball, I guess. No, I'm on just a ball and I'm supposed to sit on it to help open up my hips to prepare to get this child out of me. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm not gonna bounce. Today, we're gonna talk about baby names for this baby. She is a she, and to be honest, I don't have a name and I need your help. So please let me know which name you prefer or name combination, because I'd probably put some of these names together as a first and middle name. So these are names that I really like and could use for my child. If you like videos all about motherhood and intentional living, minimalism, all that good stuff, make sure you subscribe. Check out all the resources down below in the description. I have a free organizational email series that you can go through, and I also have the Organized Mom, which is my signature program that you can go and purchase. If you want to learn more, just check everything out down there. All right, so let's get started with these names because I need your help. I am currently 35 weeks pregnant, which means we are down to the wire. It could really happen anytime. I don't anticipate going into labor at least in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but you just never know with this wheel of life. So let's go. Name number 1. I have them written on my phone. So this name, if you know me personally, you're gonna die because it's kind of a little crazy. You know how parents call their children after TV characters or movie stars or things like that, and I think actually my parents did that with my sister. They took inspiration from a show they were watching at the time, and for me this is kind of, you know, it's an ode to the Gilmore Girls, which is probably my favorite TV show of all time. And so my name that we've had for a long time and we just haven't used it is Lorelei, and this is spelt with an A at the end. Typically it's spelled with an E, but I really like the way they spell it in the series with an A. My problem or my issue with Lorelei is, what do I make as kind of a nickname? Because I know us and just humans, we don't typically, you know, say the full name. Like Lorelei is 3 syllables, and I don't really like Rory as a nickname. That's just getting way too crazy and way too obsessed with Gilmore Girls, but I don't really know. So let me know what you would call someone that you met who was called Lorelei, how you would shorten it. Would it be like a Lori type of thing? I wouldn't call her Laura, because then I might as well just call her Laura as a name, and we already have a Lily, so I don't know if that's just too similar. Let me know. The next name that I love is Quinn, and I've been doing a lot of research on this name, and it's typically used in boys. I think originally it was actually a last name for a lot of people, but I love Quinn. I think it's unique, and that's another thing that I struggle with, is a lot of the names that I like on this list are common because they're great names, right? People love them, and something like Quinn or Lorelei, those are not common names, and I don't necessarily want my child to have the same name as 5 other kids in her class or something. But yeah, Quinn, Quinn. You could spell it with the E, but I probably wouldn't. I don't know why, I just prefer it without the E. But the thing with Quinn is that anything that follows Quinn to me sounds very similar to kind of like Queen. So if we had like, say, Quinn Jane or Quinn Margaret or something, it sounds like Queen Jane, Queen Margaret, and I don't know, not that we would be calling her by her middle name anyway. Quinn would be her first name, so I'm almost more partial to putting Quinn as a second name, because then it would be like Lorelei Quinn, you know, that kind of thing. The next name that I love, but again I'm not sure if I'll use it, and I'll explain why, but that name is Rose, and you know, I seem to like flower names. We already have a Lily, and that's probably why I wouldn't name my child Rose, not as a first name. I think maybe I'd use that as a middle name. I think it's a really nice middle name. It's a beautiful symbol, it's a beautiful flower, and I don't know, I just like that name for a little girl. The next one that I really am considering for middle name is May, and I've always loved this name, but specifically the spelling I like is M-A-E, not M-A-Y. And part of the reason I like that name is because my grandmother, her middle name was May, and I think it's like a nice little, like a little tribute nod. I think it would go down nicely. The other funny thing is that this baby is probably going to be born in May. I hope she's not going to be born in April, because that would be too early, and if she's born in June, that would be kind of late. So she's probably going to be born in May, and I don't know, is that weird to name her it wouldn't actually, it just happens that she's gonna be born in May. It's not because she's born in May that I would be calling her May, but it just is a funny coincidence. The next name that I really love, that was my original name, and if I'm thinking about it honestly, I think when I was pregnant with Lily, so my second child, I was reading a book and it had this name in it, and I thought, you know, if I ever have another child, I want to call them this name, which is Adrian. And you can get Adrian for boys and girls, but I'm having a girl, but I don't know if I'd call a boy Adrian, but I love the spelling of Adrian with the 2 N's and the E, the French. I think also like a shortened version, like Adi, is really cute as like just an everyday use of the name, but as they get older they can use their like official name, you know. My husband is like not a huge fan, otherwise maybe I would go for that, we'll see. He seems to have named all of our children so far, and maybe I should keep up with that tradition, but yeah, Adrian was kind of like put to the side because he wasn't like super into it. But you know, when you call a baby something, that's their name, you can't change it. So he would have to come around. But yeah, that's the reason why I wouldn't use Adrian. The next name, which is a serious contender, and I also really love, is Noah for a girl. So N-O-A. And this is kind of a biblical name. It's kind of old-fashioned, but it's definitely had a resurgence. It's popular now, and I remember growing up with the Noah perfume. Let me know if anyone else knew that perfume, but I love the smell of that perfume, and I love the spelling. I love the fact that it's a simple name, especially because I tend to give my kids family names, you know, with the last name and everything, and my maiden name and all sorts of things. So I like the fact that it was short, and my kids' names seem to be getting shorter and shorter if we went for Noah. So I really did like Noah Quinn, but now I'm just not sure. There's just so many names and I can't decide. So let me know what you think of Noah. The other name that I've kind of has been sort of the fashionable name, and also a name that I've had for a long time as well, and it's also a family name, which I really like, is Ella. Now the problem with Ella is that it is so popular. It is, I think, the top 13 in the top 20. I think it's number 13 in the US for little girls, and so it's like the new Catherine or Kate or whatever, and that makes me a bit like not so sure that I want to use it. But I love Ella. It's easy to spell, it's easy to say, it's very beautiful, it rolls off your tongue, you know, and it's also like Ellie would be like the nickname for Ella, even though Ella's only 2 syllables. So, but you know, like Ellie, Ella, I don't know, it's cute. So I'm really torn because I love like Ella May, Noah Quinn. I don't really know what to do. And then another name that we also considered and I also like, but we do have friends who have a daughter with this name, so that also makes things a little complicated. Let me know if you call your kids names, if you consider that, like who in your friendship circle has a child with that name, and if that would deter you from using that name. Because, you know, as I said before, these names are popular for a reason because they're nice names and everybody likes them, but that creates a problem. So the other name that I like, and I have kind of liked it, but I almost prefer the shortened version, is Josephine. And it's kind of old-fashioned, again, inspired by TV, because if you watched, clearly I'm telling my age, but if you watched Dawson's Creek, when I watched it as a young teenager, I was obsessed with Joey and Pacey and all of those people, and obviously her name was Josephine, and I love like Jojo as like, or Joey or Joe as like as a nickname for a little girl. I think it's really cute. But yeah, so that was also one of our considerations. This is a name that we've also spoken about, and this is Isla, and I like Isla as well. I do think there's always this risk, but it will happen with any name. People will call her Isla instead of Isla because they don't know how to say it, but you just have to educate people on how you pronounce your name. The problem with Isla also is that it is very popular. I also look into meanings of names, and Isla I think just means like island. I don't think it has like a deep meaning, but sometimes when I can't decide on a name, I'll go look at the meaning of the name, and depending on what it means, that might be my deciding factor, like which name I prefer. Because both of my kids' names, Theo, Theodore, and Lily, have really nice meanings, and I think that helped make my decision. Hello everyone, editing Julie here. I'm trying to like get into the camera frame. I have one more name that I wanted to add, so I thought I would just interrupt myself, I guess. And that name is Imogen. And you know what, I've been asking for signs from the universe. What should I call this baby? And that definitely seems to be coming up. Imogen's been featured a lot, coming up in my you know, consciousness. So I'm gonna add that name in as well. What do you guys think of Imogen? And then the last name that I like, which I don't know if we would use, but I do really like this name, and I've always liked it since I was little, is Emma. And again, the problem with Emma is that it is very popular, and I just don't know if I want to go that route. So I would love your advice. Help me out. I don't have much time. And typically what has happened in the past is that I have had these babies, and then the nurses will say something like, oh, what's their name? And my husband will shout out a name. And then I feel like, okay, I guess that's their name. If we're, you know, if I'm like 95% sure and he's 100% sure, he's already decided. And so I need to make sure that if he's the person saying their name, because I'm a little bit out of it, you know, I just had a baby, that it is the right name, because I feel, I don't know why, just to change her name would be strange to me. You know, once you name something, once you name someone or something, it's hard to go back. So you let me know what you think and which names you like and which combinations of names you like. I would really appreciate your input, because I don't really know what to say, and I don't think we're gonna have any more children, so then I'd have to keep all these names for future dogs and pets and animals. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm hoping to put out as many videos as I can before this baby is born, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Make sure you check out all those resources down below to help you live an organized and intentional life, so that your motherhood is meaningful and not miserable, because it does not need to be miserable. And if you're struggling right now, it does get better. Everything is a season. Everything is ups and downs. It's gonna get better. I'm here for you. If you need anything, let me know in the comments down below what videos you'd like to see from me next, and I will see you next time. Bye.